What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Here we go. Prosperity. I claim it. I claim it. Abundance. Abundance is mine. Love flows through me. I feel joy all the time. I can have it. I deserve it. I claim it. It is mine. I can have it. I claim it. I am it. It is mine. Peace fills my heart. I surrender everything. Health is my birthright. Passion helps me sing. I can have it. I deserve it. I claim it. It is mine. Can have it. I deserve it. I am it. It's my time. Break it down. So, I'm gonna sing it the first time, then you sing along with me. Here we go. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. Come on. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. I release, I let go, I accept what is mine. I can have what I want, and let Spirit direct the flow. Life is good, life is fun, life is great. This song is done. Nicely done.
Let's all take a moment for prayer, please. Breathing in that allness of God. We feel that joy of being here in community with each other, in community to learn, to grow, and to become even more of what we already are. And in this moment, I know that everyone here in this room and everyone that would be listening later knows and feels, accepts and expects that they are piece and part of the wholeness that is humanity. I know that we are each expressing that wholeness in every way, every day. And as we move into this service, we are so grateful for all the helping hands that bring us together each and every week. For our beautiful hospitality team, for our ushers, for our leadership council that keeps our boat steering in the right direction, and for the beautiful practitioners who open their hearts, open their minds each and every day to offer prayers for each of us and for our New Dawn beloved community. And today we are so very blessed to have with us once again the Reverend Dr. David Goldberg, while he shares his wisdom about prosperity and where it is, what true prosperity is in our lives. So with this deep gratitude and this unending thanksgiving for all the good that we are already experiencing and for the good that is still coming our way, we just express so much gratitude. And to anchor all of this in, turning it into the love and law that makes it so, we anchor it in by saying together, and so it is. Our words of inspiration today. I believe that we are called by God to be the very best stewards of all the gifts, talents, and opportunities entrusted to us in this lifetime. The end result is true prosperity and real success, by T.D. Jakes. From Abraham Hicks, the fastest way to bring more abundance into your experience is to take the constant notice of the wonderful things that you already have. Eric Butterworth, the amazing prosperity teacher. There is no such thing as lack of faith. We all have plenty of faith. It's just that we have faith in the wrong things. We have faith in what can't be done rather than what can be done. We have faith in lack rather than abundance. But there is no lack of faith. Faith is law. And from our founder, Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes. Never limit your view of life by any past experience. The possibility of life is inherent within the capacity to imagine what life is, backed by the power to produce this imagery or divine imagination. It is not a question of failing or succeeding. It is simply a question of sticking to an idea until it becomes a tangible reality. The illusion is in the way we look at things. We have looked at poverty, degradation, and misery until they have assumed gigantic proportions. Now we must look at harmony, happiness, plenty, prosperity, peace, and right action until they appear. So today we are very fortunate to have Reverend Dr. David Goldberg with us again, and this time he graced us by bringing his beautiful husband with him. So what a joy it is to have the two of you here. Last time I introduced David, I told you how I was the bartender at his wedding. There we have it. I didn't kill anybody pouring wine that night. Today I want to talk about something a little more serious, and that is the depth of consciousness and the depth of heart that this man has. 8 years ago, I was working at CSL headquarters, working for Reverend Dr. David Goldberg in the publishing department. And as we got closer and closer to that election day that we have a consciousness here for that day, there was a lot of emotion happening at CSL. And on the day after the election, once Hillary Clinton had conceded, there was a lot of people that were in deep emotion about it. There weren't a lot of people even at work that day. They had taken the day off to stay home and do their own thinking about what had happened. But David took leadership that day, and he was probably the only leader in the building that day. And he called everyone that was there into his office so that we could talk, some, but mostly just to be held in that deep consciousness and in that huge heart that man has. And I have never felt more moved by a prayer, and I have never felt more supported than I did that day around what was going on in our country. So it's always a pleasure to have David here. And I'm just grateful that he always says yes every time I call. And even when I don't call, he'll call and ask me, "You need any help this month?" And he shows up. And we're just so fortunate to have him. So again, please welcome David Goldberg.
Well, hi, beautiful people. Between CSL and the Broncos, good choice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Denise, bless you, thank you. It's a joy to be on this path with you, and it's one of my great honors. Thank you for your love and your support. Many of you have heard some of my story before about right out of high school having the opportunity to travel in the musical group Up With People. And it formed a whole lot of who I am, traveling with people from 22 different countries between the ages of 18 and 26. And this was, long before some of our current conversations, obviously. And we took it upon ourselves very early on that we had lots of national days. I thought the 4th of July was the only national day. Well, guess what? Every country in the world has a national day. And there were lots of holy days, and there were lots of holidays. And rather than saying, oh, we can't do that because if we celebrate them, they might be offended, we celebrated everybody's birthday and everybody's holiday and everybody's holy day. And one of the ways that was crystallized for me, my first year on the road, I was a very young 18. I turned 18 on the road, and it was toward the end of our tour where we were spending 6 weeks in Mexico. And for those who may not be familiar with the Up With People model, our little band of merry people of about 120 lived with people in their homes wherever we traveled. So we had host families in every community where we traveled around the world. I am so fortunate. I still call my 90 host families on 3 continents in 8 countries my favorite host family. Anyway, for 2 of my favorite host families in Mexico, we happened to be traveling over Easter Sunday from one community to the next community, what we lovingly call the travel day. Imagine that. And my castmate and I were staying with this family of tremendous means in Mexico. And we stayed with them, and we had our own casita on the property. We had our own maid. We had our own cook. We had our own pool. This kid from suburban Denver was like, I didn't know the terms prosperity and abundance necessarily, and I was kind of liking it. And so that was great. It was a wonderful experience in the community with the community service work that we did with our host brothers and host sisters. They were very generous and very gregarious and very patient with my non-existent Spanish. And we got to the end of our week with them, and our host father came in and had a conversation with my castmate and me, and he said, oh, you guys, you did such a great job, and we love Viva la Gente, and whatever we can do to support the organization and support you. And what would you think if I sailed you up the coast in my yacht to your next city? And I'm like, let me think, yes. And then, right, reflecting on the time and the place and the space and the moment and the reason for the organization, we were with that a bit, and we respectfully declined. As much as that would have been a tremendous mental equivalent in prosperity and abundance, it was more about being with our group, as I said, on Easter Sunday and honoring those who celebrated that holiday. So we said no, and he couldn't quite understand why, but he respected that and joined the chauffeur as we were driven to our drop-off point. We all said goodbye. And then we had our travel day, and then we had our Easter service in the city that we were traveling to. So we did that, whatever that looked like for the people who were celebrating Easter. And then we had our host pickup. And so I was with another castmate in this particular city, and there weren't very many rules around hosting and Up With People, other than back in those days, men and women were billeted, were housed separately, right? There were no mixed allocations. So women stayed with women, guys stayed with guys. And The only other requirement was that everybody had a bed, that we traveled so much and we worked so hard and we were up early and out late, and they just really wanted everybody to have a good night's sleep. So anyway, my new castmate roommate and I were waiting for our families, and the other cars were coming, and all of our other castmates were packing up and leaving, and a couple people came in cabs and went home with their host families, and my buddy and I are just kind of hanging out. You know, maybe our host family changed their mind, what's going on here? And finally, kind of at the very end of the allotted time, this family of four, mom, dad, little boy, little girl, comes walking down the street, and they greet us. And my buddy happens to be from Mexico, so I'm just smiling, and he's doing all the interpreting. And we pick up our luggage, and I just kind of look at him, and he says, "We're walking home." I said, "Okay." So, so we just start following our family. We walk home. It was a bit of a walk. It wasn't anything grueling. Certainly not unlike, anything like my parents trying to get to school when it snowed in Denver. But so we walked to our host family's home, and they showed us to our hammocks on the patio. So we didn't officially have our own beds. We had our own hammocks, and they were outside. And then we just kind of, put everything away. Our host family invited us in for dinner, and the family was sitting around us. They were not eating. They put dinner down in front of us and put down these lovely fish heads. And I look at my buddy, and he looks at me. And, again, another rule was, if it's not going to kill you, if it's not putting you in danger, embrace the experience and go with it. And I'm looking at this fish head. Not a big fan of fish to start with, certainly not the head part. And I'm looking at my buddy, and he says something in Spanish and gently starts to push away. And he looks at me and kind of gives me the okay that he said, kind of, we're not hungry, or we're okay, or the family can have this, or whatever. And the family starts bursting out laughing. This was their idea of a prank on the gringo. Is this idiot really going to eat a fish head? Well, thankfully, I passed that idiot test. I don't know how many other ones I may have failed along the way. And my point in sharing that whole story is, how are you defining prosperity and abundance in your life? Right? The first family, it was evident. It was money. It was success. It was outward recognition. It was all of this more traditional symbols of status. With the second family, it was more intangible, perhaps something more that we as metaphysicians might identify. It was kindness. It was opening your home to a stranger. It was welcoming somebody who you have never seen before into your home. Isn't that one of the lessons of the parables? Isn't that one of the lessons of the Bible? Greeting and welcoming the stranger. And how beautiful is that expression of prosperity and abundance? And so that's what we're diving into today with the true meaning of prosperity. Let us cast the widest possible net as we look at those explorations. My friends, the life you are living right now is the life that you prayed about, or at least thought about at some point. So congratulations. Look at you being an excellent manifester. And I get it. Things change, people change, conditions change, and I see you, and you are whole and perfect and complete and gorgeous and glorious and a perfect expression of the divine. And maybe you want to be a different kind of perfect tomorrow. Maybe you want to do something different. Maybe you want to engage less. P.S., that's okay. Maybe you want to try softer. We're really good at trying harder. Maybe you want to try softer. Or maybe you do want to try harder. Maybe you want to try something completely different. Maybe you want to go to Italy and live, eat, pray, love. Maybe you want to have Italian pizza crafted in a pizza oven, and you want to pray at Notre Dame when they're offering services in French and Latin, and you don't speak either, and you just want to be in the energy, right? Whatever you are co-creating with the divine is perfect. And that is the expression of prosperity and abundance that we are speaking into. So I have shared with you that it has been a great joy all these years to be a CSL minister, to be licensed and ordained through Centers for Spiritual Living. And these last few years, wanting to be a different kind of whole, perfect and complete, I have pursued licensing within the Unity tradition as well. So now also being licensed through Unity and CSL. And thank you, Denise, for acknowledging my bi-spirituality. Have to be careful with that one. But I also love, in addition to Butterworth and Holmes, I also love Charles Fillmore. I have a newfound appreciation for Charles and Myrtle, the founders of Unity. And part of what I have been sitting with what I wanted to share with you today, is Charles Fillmore's book, appropriately titled Prosperity. So the first piece that I wanted to share with you, exactly as Russell and Denise shared at the beginning, when we have so much, more is required of us, even to giving of ourselves with all that we are and have. This privilege carries immeasurable benefits with it, for it looses us from the personal life, unifies us with the universal, and so opens our inner and outer life to the inflow and the outflow of the life, love, bounty, and grace of God. Now, fill in your favorite New Thought person, right? That could be Ernest, that could be Charles, that could be Myrtle, that could be Mary Baker Eddy, that could be any number of people who you know and love, because they all hung out together. They were their own church. They were friends, they were colleagues, they were students, they were all teachers together. So that continues to speak to my heart. And I also appreciate Myrtle was captured saying in the early days of Unity, you know, Ernest was very hesitant to start a church. He said the last thing the world needs is another organized religion. And the Fillmores kind of took the other path. They wanted to form a religion, and so they started Unity. So Charles and Myrtle were literally working side by side. And during one of the downturns in the economy, when they were building Unity Village, one of the people who was working with Myrtle in the accounting department, you know, they were doing their daily prayers, and this person was expressing his human angst. And he said, "Oh, Myrtle, I so hope our finances hold out." And she, you know, very calmly and lovingly offered, "Beloved, I trust our faith will hold out." And so again, what is the message in that for you? Are you praying for more money? Which is absolutely fine, by the way. Money is God in action, and we need it to live on this planet. Or are you leaning into your faith, manifesting what is yours to manifest monetarily, as well as all other forms? You know, I still love Ernest, and I appreciate his quote where he offers, "The universe is abundant. It is our right to have what we need." And that is not just us, right? That is what we know. It's everyone's right to have what they need. So we know that many people have found their way to metaphysics, to New Thought, through The Secret. It's kind of been the blessing and the curse for so many people, right? It is Metaphysics 101. It's foundation, you know, the foundations of prosperity and abundance. It's manifesting a parking place. It is kind of the easy stuff that we all know how to do and that we've all mastered. And like many things, we can take it as deep as we want. So that's why I honor Denise and I honor your council for taking a deep dive into prosperity with what that looks like and what that feels like. And the other thing that we know, I love what Russell was saying, that I don't know what I'm bringing to the potluck, but I can guarantee you that I'm going to eat. You know, not only are you a kindred spirit, my brother, but we are on that same path. I don't know what I'm going to create in consciousness, and I know I'm going to take the action to get me there, right? What do we know as religious scientists, as metaphysicians? Treat and move your feet. Pray and take action. So I love all of the prayer work that you're inviting people into in the community. And I love the action that you're taking, inviting people into the parking lot, inviting people into the structure, holding a prayer vigil on election day. That is awesome. That is the action, in my humble opinion, that is sometimes missing in the work that we do. So thank you. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for stepping into that. And Denise, we're also on the same page. I love Eric Butterworth and his work, published by Unity Publications, ironically. Prosperity is not a gift from God. It is a way of life. How will that support you in your life work and your life mission if you were to reframe prosperity through that lens? That it's not about praying and meditating and doing all of the work that we know how to do. Rather, it's the whole process of your life and everything that you're doing. What if everything, as Eckhart Tolle says, not only what if everything is a prayer, but what if everything is an affirmation of your prosperity and abundance? Thank you for the affirmations that you all are working with and inviting everybody into. So that is what we know then as people of faith. We know that affirmations work. We know that what we think about, we bring about. We know that what gets our attention gets our intention. We know all of that stuff. And we have that underlying foundation of simply knowing what we're calling in, of simply knowing what we know to be true. We get to stand in that truth. As Ernest tells us, we get to be grounded in truth and open at the top. That is why you continue to participate in this community. You are all teachers. You are all learners. And that is how we continue to learn, to grow, and to expand. The other thing that is part of my growing edge that I share with you, if there's anything in there for you, you're welcome to it, is the whole thought of divine timing. We get to be with, whatever we're calling in. And me, myself, and I need and want it right now. And hello, I'm praying and I'm taking action and God isn't listening. Hello, hello, hello. Well, what if God is listening? What if there is divine time and there's David time? And guess who wins? So I invite you all into that practice. And from my perspective, that practice of patience. We get to call in whatever we're calling in, right? We get to have our list. We get to manifest what we're manifesting. Maybe we're manifesting a life partner. Maybe we're stepping into better health. Maybe we are creating multiple income streams to support us in whatever we choose to do. And we get to know that, and we get to take action on that, and we all still get to trust that it's happening in right time. So some of you know that I was most recently serving at a church in Colorado Springs, at Unity Spiritual Center in the Rockies. And Rick and I were finalizing our plans to be able to move south, to move into Colorado Springs. And for us, being two extraordinarily right-brained people, we were very proud of ourselves for doing our research and talking to people and touring friends' homes and what side of town do we want to be in and what side of the highway and what works best for us and how close is close without being too close to the church, right? Ministers get to think about that. And so we had done all that work, and I had, announced on a Sunday that we were getting closer to moving down there. And long story short, we were complete with that experience at the church. My board and I reached a mutual agreement. We were complete with that experience. Rick and I weren't sure what we were going to do. Well, we could stay in our place. It's not horrible. And we could move down there, but why? And we could move somewhere else, but we're just not sure. So there was all of this nebulousness all of a sudden where we had done a whole lot of planning from our perspective, right? And we're like, I don't know. So I had lunch with a friend, and my friend came up with an idea. And I was like, oh my gosh. And sometimes you just hear something that hits you in your solar plexus and you just know. And I didn't have to think about it. And sorry, but I didn't have to pray about it. And I didn't have to do anything about it other than run it by my life partner and my husband. So I came home and I'm like, how do I approach this? And I said, so I have a thought. It's just an idea. And it hit him the same way, right? I mentioned it to Rick, and one of his guiding philosophies is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So I shared my idea with him, or the thought that was percolating, and he just kind of looked at me and he said, hell yes. And we're both trying to get better about riding the wave. We're both really good about saying yes, and then after the fact, we say, what the hell? But in this instance, he said, hell yes. That was the middle of May. We gave our notice the end of May. We moved the middle of June. We're in a new house. And it wasn't on either one of our radar screens. And so my whole point is there is divine time and there is our personal time. So I invite you, if you're anything like I am, to be a bit more patient as you step into honoring what is divine right time for you. So I love, again, the practical steps that you are inviting each other into as a community. Your prayer on Tuesdays, your prayer on the election day, your gathering in community to break bread. I love the affirmations and the visualizations. We know that is key, right? And again, at the risk of sounding like Rick's business manager, he has a new oracle deck that's based on Toto, the most beloved dog of all time. And we also have a Cairn Terrier, and we tease our little guy Terry that Toto was his great-great-great-grandmother. But Rick has a new oracle deck that he invites people to pull a card a day, or pull a card a week, or pull a card a month. And Toto's not for everybody. Maybe it's an animal totem deck. Maybe it's your own card deck that you use. Maybe it is the basket of affirmations that Denise has created from all of the work that you have been doing. The point is, continue to grow, continue to expand, continue to do the work that you are doing in that process. And I also appreciate your acts of generosity within your community, large and small. I saw something on social that really struck me. It said, all of your friends still love you. Everybody's just really tired. So when you get to that place of, nobody likes me, everybody hates me, I'm gonna go eat worms, I invite you to consider that you are loved and that everybody's just tired. So, what is the opportunity in that for you and for me? As I've shared with you before, if you wouldn't say it to your grandchild, okay, I'm almost done. If you wouldn't say it to your grandchild, don't say it to yourself, right? So be as kind and gentle with yourself as you are with everybody else in your life. So, as I move toward the close then, I just want you to consider this as an affirmation on this beautiful day. I am open to receiving all the good the universe has to offer. Repeat with me. I am open to receiving has to offer. Yeah. I am open to receiving all of the good that the universe has to offer. And that is what we know to be true. So please join me in prayer. Mother, Father God, how good it is to be together in community, in this prosperous community, in this glorious community that recognizes abundance by so many names and so many terms. I honor all that are here. I honor all who are listening or watching online in the beauty and comfort of their own time in their own space. And so I just know that the words, the music, the energy that is offered here and created in this space is in support of the greater good. It's in support of that greater prosperity. It's in support of that greater abundance that we all say yes to. And I say yes for every being within the sound of my voice. I say yes. I say thank you, Spirit. I say thank you for the generosity, for the kindness, for the love that is expressed every day in every way for each and every one of us, as we are all considered giant souls with loving hearts sharing this human experience. So whatever each individualized definition of prosperity, whatever each unique understanding of abundance, I say yes. I say yes. I say, bring it on right now. Thank you, Spirit. We accept it with grace, with ease, and with great joy. And it is in that spirit of joy that I release. I release, I let go, I allow it to be. And we anchor this together by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. Amen.
Creatures of the earth, big and small, and every hair on my head, you count them all. The secret of the stars and the mystery of Mars are nothing for you to solve. You are God of everything. You spoke your name and it all came into being. You are God of everything. You made your home inside of me. There is nothing else I need. You are God of everything. The path of time moves like shifting sand. I'm steadied by perfect bands. Vast deserts of fear and deep oceans of tears all disappear at your command. You are God of everything. You spoke your name, it all came into being. You are God of everything. In your home inside of me, there's nothing else I need. You are God of everything. Oh, the wonders you are. You are God of everything. You spoke your name and it all came into being. You are God of everything. Your home inside of me. There is nothing else I need. You are God of everything. God of everything. God of everything. everything. God of everything.